Hi Gemini, welcome to your mid-May tarot and astrology reading. This is a very, very important time of the year for you. The new moon in your sign is truly supported and connected with Saturn. And this is an energy that is somewhat of a welcome reprieve. The Capricorn energy over the last few months to few years has been quite intense for you as you grapple with what you know about the death rebirth cycle. One of the things that Pluto is trying to teach you is about your relationship with death and understanding that the process of death and birth are the same thing. Being born is death of the spiritual realm you possessed prior to that, and dying is leaving the body. It is all transition really, and you're being asked to transition quite a lot. And now it's time that you face the ultimate karmic lesson of any Gemini, and that is to express yourself. If that makes you excited, we're on the right track. If that makes you scared, we're still on the right track. If that makes you both, you're definitely a Gemini. So, the new moon in your sign at 2 degrees is trine Saturn. Now Saturn is starting to move backwards in the sky, and in Aquarius for you, that is your philosophies and your further knowledge. It's the Sagittarian aspect. It is the knowledge in university rather than the beginning of the education process. Gemini rules the beginning of the education process, where you're interested in many things. You learn many things at once. Sagittarian energy, 9th house energy, is more streamlined. It's when you go to university, it's higher education, and you study the one thing. Geminis are better at studying many things. But how often do you study the self? Well, the duality can be quite confusing for those around you. It can be quite confusing for yourself. It's almost sometimes like there's two of you. Why? Because there is two of you. And that is not to say there's the magician wanting to pop out. That's your energy. That is not to say that it's a bad thing. You're an alchemist after all. But with the true node in your sign, trusting yourself and putting yourself first is going to be the answer to all of your problems. The karma lies in your partnerships and in your heartbreak, where you must examine some pain that is preventing you from being who you are, from saying what it is that you want, from being sure of how you love. Number 3, 3rd house, Gemini. The new moon in your sign, with the support of Saturn, would like you, Gemini, to decide for yourself what it is most in the world that you would like to commit to, what it is that you would like to further, what it is that you would like to tap into, where you could be steady and where you could take appropriate measures. Despite this, Venus in your sign, which is retrograding, is squaring off with Neptune in Pisces. Your 10th house, apologies, I was going to say 4th. Your 10th house of reputation. And that's very confusing of you, because perhaps you feel a little bit shameful of oversharing with people and putting it on a platform. But it's not a bad thing if it's helping people heal, especially if it's helping you heal. To say what it is that you feel without shame, to say the thing that you've kept secret from others for fear of rejection. Uranus in the 12th, the sun in the 12th, connecting with Jupiter in the 8th. It's time to blow your own secrets out of the water, particularly if it's to do with a fire sign who's kind of curious about your secrets anyway. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They're very honest, and they would like to know that the person they love is not living a double life. Venus retrograde in your sign is probably putting a little bit of guilt on your plate for whatever it is, whether it's staying for too long in something you should have left, whether it is feeling a bit of shame for who you are. All these energies are things that you just have to work through. And you will do so, and you will do so very, very well. How do I know that? Because Mercury, your ruler, is in your sign, and it is conjunct the true node in the very last degree of Gemini. It's time to be who you are. And if you're saying, I am always myself, I've always been myself, I think you probably have at least one skeleton in your closet that would like to be acknowledged at this point. King of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, the World, and the Queen of Wands. Beautiful. Very authentic, very open, very honest. Nine of Cups and the Page of Swords. Shooting from the hip. Underneath, Temperance. That opposite energy of Sagittarius, the balance between the South and the North node. Always at odds, always learning from each other. What part of you are you at odds with? Because that's what you need to learn from. And a big clue is where you've been putting so much effort into hiding it, where you've been putting so much effort into standing your ground, fighting your corner, trying to convince yourself of something. I think you're tired. The World in the challenge position is suggesting that Saturn going retrograde is making you revisit things that you would just rather not, particularly if they're from your university days or they are to do with your chosen profession. Perhaps you're feeling like you want to change it all. Perhaps you're feeling like this has been so hard in terms of getting what the lesson is amidst a struggle. I think for a lot of Geminis, I've noticed in the sky there has been this struggle. And a lot of it is to do with a decision that you're not proud of. A lot of it is to do with making a choice that you would like to go back on and change, that feels kind of uncomfortable for you. And it's not even to say that for your particular situation, Gemini, you did anything wrong. It's just to say that it is not in alignment with who you want to be. But is anybody's past in alignment with who they want to be? I don't think so. The healing that you have to do is very much to do with love and relationships, particularly if it's with a Leo or a Sagittarius. But I think it's a Leo. It's definitely a fire sign. And it's really beautiful. It doesn't even have to be a particular zodiac sign, but by Leo season, I think a lot of you are feeling very, very in love. And that is when Venus will finally leave your sign, having taught you so much, having healed you so deeply, having made you feel so lovable for every aspect of yourself. And how do we get there? It's a funny lesson that I think a lot of people have to learn in life, and particularly you, because your karmic lesson as a Gemini sun is to express yourself authentically. Which is why oftentimes you just, it feels like a struggle sometimes to communicate for Geminis, which is ironic because you're so witty and you're so clever. But at times in trying to express yourself for the way that you feel you should, it can oftentimes come out not quite the way you intended it to, It's so possible to have a conversation with a Gemini and absolutely be cheering them on in one aspect and then 5 minutes later be thinking, no, I don't agree with you at all. It's what keeps people on their toes though. It's also what keeps people thinking. And I think anybody in your life could agree as a Gemini that they learn a lot from you. You're great at spreading the message. Sometimes with the Page of Swords here, you have to be careful that in certain aspects you might be unintentionally maybe deceiving people with what it is that you're telling them that you want, what it is that you're telling them that you're doing even, and that's blocking your benefits. That's blocking the things coming in that you want to experience, and it will end up breaking your heart and somebody else's if you lie about it. Especially if you lie about it. You're being asked with this new moon to go forward completely honestly and completely unrestricted, because I think a lot of you have suffered quite severely at the expense of lies, and it's time to move forward. Where there has been gaslighting, in particular, maybe with a fellow air sign, maybe with a Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, I think it's time to take your things and go. This is your new moon, this is your season, and it's for you. You put yourself first. That is the only thing you should do. It's the best thing you can do. If any of you are involved in a devil-like relationship where you feel trapped, where you feel restricted, it's time to move forward. Where you feel that there is somebody in the past that you wronged and you wish you'd said something differently, Venus in your sign in retrograde will give you that chance. But the first key is to understand that all of this only occurs when you change that thing within. The Queen of Wands and the Nine of Cups. Being so true to yourself, being so true to who you are, and being confident that you deserve the Nine of Cups energy. Well, you deserve the Ten of Cups energy, but for the moment, just focus on the 9, as it's the one sitting there. Knowing that you deserve something spectacular just because you are you is very important to your mental well-being. Your season is going to be all about yourself, and particularly with the North Node there, if you can think back, for those of you that are old enough, to 2001, 2002 time, where you were at in your life and what you were discovering, whatever it is, you need to put yourself first. And if you feel a little bit like with Saturn and Aquarius and with the true node in your sign and the south node in your relationship sector, if you feel like you're suddenly hit with all these pangs of unworthiness and these pangs of guilt and these pangs of past lover pain, and if maybe for some of you that really, really, really toxic relationship reappears, or it's reappeared for you in a new body, it's time to let that go. Where a relationship with a fellow air sign or a Capricorn has been so toxic, it's time to go. Venus retrograde will not let you move through without cleaning the slate. And it is a beautiful thing to do. And as I said, if it's with a Sagittarius, if it's with a fire sign, I think by Leo season it's looking really good. For those of you that are in unhealthy dynamics that you have to leave behind in Venus retrograde, you will be in beautiful bonds by August, because Venus wants you to re-examine how you love this year. Where you could do with changing things a little bit is with Saturn. Perhaps in your past there is an Aquarius, a Taurus, a Leo, a Scorpio that you just can't move past. Maybe there's something there to learn. What you have to do is, if there's somebody that you want to reach out to, that you lied to, that you hurt, here you go. You have to make the first move. You have to express yourself. Where you express yourself authentically in love, the people that are meant for you will stick around. The people that are not meant for you will kick up a fuss and gaslight you for explaining your own love language. And that's not energy that anybody should tolerate. The worst person for you is the person that makes you feel guilty for trying to solve a problem by looking inward and figuring out something about yourself and putting it forward with vulnerability, and they slam it in your face to say that you're blaming them. For a lot of you, the Saturn aspect is your relationship with the father. The sun represents the father. The sun in your sign is making you re-examine where there's some karmic issue there. It's blocking your success in your career. The nudity in the card of the World is that you're coming forward, Gemini, with such armor that it's impossible for people to know who they're getting. And that's not to say that you should not look after yourself, because I'm telling you to put yourself first, but I'm also telling you that your silver tongue is enough armor for any situation. When your ruler Mercury in your sign conjuncts Venus on the 22nd, you have a voice in love. And I suggest you use it. You have a voice to put yourself forward, to communicate yourself, to figure out what it is that you need to say. Do you need to say sorry? Do you need to be honest? Do you need to tell someone to get out of your life? Whatever it is, Gemini, you're gonna do it. And I'm right there behind you to say, speak your truth. Even if you don't like it. You deserve to have your say, and you do it so beautifully. I think when Geminis don't articulate exactly what they want, who they are, they oftentimes lose their wit. And you can just, you know, you see it with people, Geminis like Russell Brand, they're just fascinating. The way that they communicate is just so amazing. It's just, they can they can spin words around anybody and bring anybody around to their way of thinking, and they're kind of hypnotizing in that sense. But that's when they accept who they really, really are. They're not hiding behind anything. And it's your turn. If you're not feeling that energy yet, you'll be feeling it soon. June's going to be so exciting. I can already tell by your little preview here. June is going to be very exciting. I love you very much. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, Gemini.